Эту неделю мы провели в Бразилии на втором конгрессе дегустаторов кофе, и в этом году он полностью посвящен канефорам. Канефоры – это тренд и надолго, поэтому абсолютно у каждого обжарщика в ассортименте со временем появится или уже имеется какой-то представитель канефора. Это может быть Conilon или робуста.
I can say to you that the CANEPHORAS are improving a lot, and they are improving the quality of the sensory profiles of the CANEPHORAS. And with this, the consumers are accepting much better and much more the CANEPHORAS in the blends, and also the CANEPHORAS in a standalone profile too. I think this is the trend for the world. We are with the climate change issues, challenge, we are facing that the Arabica production probably will reduce worldwide because of the adaptation in many of the regions.
In Vietnam, the federal government is creating a big promotion to increase the coffee plantation in Vietnam. But the principal main is about the productivity, to reduce the disease of some species in canephora coffee. In India, it's the same way, because in India, they are producing amazing sustainable coffees, Arabicas and Robustas together, with the shade inside the forest to protect the soil, a lot of biodiversity. But the principal main is about the sustainability. It's not about the high productivity and the high quality. I think Brazil is making the best job to promote the quality of the canephoras inside marketing.
Brazil, it's the place that everything started for Cup of Excellence, and it is the country that it's always very open to new ideas. As we could, as you said, we could prove to the world some years ago, more than 10 years ago already, that the naturals also have quality. And for me, the major signal that could show to us that this was really true was when our competitors, our countries, started to look for how to produce natural coffees too. And I think we will have the same for the canephoras.
For the last 30 years, we have a lot of innovation, and it's a completely a revolution in the coffee market in Brazil and in the world. Look, when you look only for Brazil, in the first quality competition that was in 1999, the market was around $1. And the results of the competition, because discovering the methodology, how to score, and discovering regions, discovering producers, the price was $2.50. This is the starting point. And in that moment, there was a lot of doubt. Who bought this coffee? You'll be able to sell in good price. Some was, this is only Brazilian friends that is abroad that give support to us. But this does not work. And some much more smart and much more vision. No, this is the future, because you can discover new coffees, new producers, new regions, and as well give a recognition for them. And we are so happy that 25 years later, the thing is happening. The price is completely different.
I think the coffee is changing as a business not only because of the quality, the technology, but also because of mainly here in Brazil, and now we are sharing this to the world. We could change the mindset of the producers. Our producers now, even though they are very small producers, they look coffee as a business, not as a social environment. I'm very happy that there are many Central American and other Latin countries already following the procedures that we have here in Brazil, the management, the way that we manage a coffee land and a coffee farm here in Brazil. And I'm also already talking with many people from Africa, many countries in Africa, many governments in Africa to look for this kind of approach.
So in the past, we believe that industry doesn't matter so much with the quality, but because of that, I believe that the Conilon or Robusta doesn't have a very good way in the international business. Different from the Arabicas, the Conilon industry invests very much in productivity. And nowadays, in the 5 past years, it's not true. Because now we are worried about the quality, so because of that, Corbiel invest some money and we invited IFES to provide a project for us because we realize that we need to increase the quality since that we are in the international market since the 3 years ago.
My father, he was born in the mountains here. He knew about Arabica crops. He had grown Arabica, and he knew that the specialty coffee, the fine Arabicas, were not just fine because they were Arabica, because at their farms they have also bad coffees, and there was all Arabica. Then he put this in our minds: if you treat the coffee differently, if you just harvest the ripe cherries and treat them separately, for sure we'll have also a better beverage and a fine coffee in the end. Today, the Conilon crop, on average, year by year, according to the pruning system, we can reach like 50 and more, maybe 70 per hectare, bags per hectare. That is much more than good Arabica crops in most of times. Nowadays, we have like 80% of our coffee is specialty coffee, is 80 plus. So it's a great number for a farm. So the specialty is the way we have to stay here producing coffee, and that my children can stay here producing coffee, and after that their children's and on.
We have 2 separate businesses, okay? This year we receive around 1.6 million bags. So it's not possible to invest only on the high quality business. We need to have regular coffee for the industry. And another business that we have is the specialty coffee. We are talking about the naturals, the washed coffee, and we are talking about the fermented coffee. In the last 2 years, we are increasing our quantity in specialty coffee, focused in naturals and fermented and washed coffee.
When we are talking about quality, we have to pay special attention on the drying, because during the drying you can ruin all the year of labor that you have. So here we are doing a very slow drying, even the mechanical dryers, because we take out of the smoke of the burner and just blow in the dryer. We just blow the hot air. And it's not very hot, it's like 40 Celsius. The seed in the end needs to be stable, not alive enough to become another plant, but alive enough to keep the essential oils and the flavor and the quality of the coffee. For commercial, usually people just pull all the smoke that the burner can produce inside, and they will dry the coffee with the air temperature or the smoke temperature around 400 Celsius. It's completely different. It's like 6 hours to dry a drum like this. Sometimes we need almost 60. It's 10 times more. Of course, it costs 10 times more, at least. Why do we invest in this kind of dryers? Because we don't have people to use those patios and to move the coffee around. The labor cost in Brazil is right now very high comparing to the other countries or the producer countries, and we have to compete with them. Yeah, in Uganda, I went there last year, and they would pay around $1 per day. Here in Brazil right now, we are paying $30 per day. Even during the harvesting, the manager of the farm there told me they will earn like $1.50 per day. Here in Brazil, during the harvest, people can earn like $100 a day. It's not unusual. So it's hard to compete. It's impossible to compete just thinking about the cost. You have to find out some differentiation on quality, and then you can show the perspective of what the cost will impact on the final beverage. When the coffee comes to the facility after we harvested, we start to separate according to the quality. Even when we have the fresh fruits, we do a first separation. Some of them also can be attacked by insects in the field. So they have small holes and it will kill the seed. Once the seed is not alive anymore, you will lose quality very fast. In the end of the 3 months, it will taste like wood. When we started this separation there, we cannot throw the coffee away. This coffee that is not good enough to be specialty needs to be processed. Often it goes to the big industry that will transform it in low quality products that is cheaper, because it's cheaper to process. In fact, they are kind of byproducts. They are not the coffee itself. The specialty coffee we just want the best part. So we take these very ripe cherries and we'll treat them separately. Even the good cherries, the ripe ones, we can process in different manners, in different ways. So we can have pulped natural, for example, the washed coffee, or just natural, but a well done natural. We can do some fermentation. We can improve the fermentation with those techniques that we have nowadays. Every step of this processing will change the final flavor of the coffee. And of course, some of them take time, some of them need you to build a tank, some of them need you to buy yeast. So everything on the processing will impact in the final cost of the product. For sure, if you have a very complex coffee, it will have many steps on the processing. For sure it will cost more. They all came from the same tree, but the processing, the sorting, it makes all the difference in the final cost and the final flavor of the beverage.
Essa relação que está sendo construída ano após ano, especialmente por conta do Roasters Village, que tem nos ajudado muito a entender o perfil de consumo dos clientes de café especial, nos ajuda a entender os tipos de atributo que nós podemos buscar e ajustar no processamento do café de modo a entregar uma qualidade que os torrefadores queiram.
O nosso armazém, diferente de outros armazéns, a gente tem capacidade de estar maquinando 30 quilos de cafés. Então a gente montou essa estrutura para fazer microlotes, né? A limpeza do maquinário é bem fácil de estar fazendo e a gente consegue estar maquinando essas pequenas quantidades devido à qualidade dos profissionais que estão executando a tarefa.
Falando de diferenciação de mercado, os produtores que trabalham com café especial, eles têm um ágio sobre a produção de cafés especiais. Então, a Farmers Coffee trabalha essa diferenciação em torno de 20% até pode chegar a 50%, 60% de valor de mercado sobre o valor da commodity, de acordo com a qualidade que o produtor consegue entregar para nós, que aí, em consequência, nós conseguimos entregar para o cliente final.
It is important to understand the difference between species and varieties and work on this on the chemical profile, on the sensorial profile. For example, when we think about Arabica, the content of caffeine starts like 0.6 and goes to 1.2. When I think about Robustas, it starts at 1.4, 1.6 and goes to 3%. When you think about the average Conilons, could go starting 2.5 and goes to up to 4%. And this is great because we can work this diversity and has different profiles, and we can reach different markets and consumers. Because, for example, if I'm going to the party and I want to drink a coffee, probably I would choose Conilon's. If I want something, energy to study, for example, and I could go to Robustas and it would be really tasteful and interesting. And if I want to be like in soft time, relaxing, probably I could go towards Arabica. And one thing that I always like to tell people is, why do I have to choose if I can have all?
Вы только что услышали мнение экспертов, поэтому выводы делайте сами и правильно инвестируйте время и средства в кофе. Пока!